What's up, guys? My name is Jonathan. I want to talk to you guys today about identity. What is your identity based on? Is your identity based on your looks? Is your identity based on your job, success, your performance on a test? What is your identity based on? You see, if we base our identity on these aspects of life, we'll find ourselves uneasy, stressed, confused, doubting ourselves, because these things in our life go up and down. I personally struggle with perfectionism. If I'm given a message and it doesn't go the way I envision it, it doesn't matter what kind of feedback I get from those around me, I can't take it in because it's not the way I wanted it. It's not the way I wanted it to go. How many of us struggle with these kind of things in our lives? We struggle with our jobs and we're given an assignment from our boss and we do poorly on it and we let him down and we look bad. And we let that determine who we are. We let that determine our identity. Or we get a test and it's not the grade that we wanted, the grade that we envisioned. And we let that determine who we are. We all struggle with these kind of things. We all let these things determine our identity and who we are, and it's really not. I realized recently I'm very hard on myself. If I make a mistake at work, I constantly beat myself up for it. If I get a certain grade on a test, I'm constantly thinking about it. If someone says something about me, it stays in the back of my mind. It's hard for me to let it go. And then I started to realize through some insights that how can I be loving towards others if I'm not loving towards myself? How can I be in harmony with everything around me if I'm constantly isolating certain events, if I'm constantly isolating my mistakes, if I'm constantly isolating what someone has said about me, if I'm constantly isolating all my imperfections? I realize it's keeping me from encouraging someone who really needs it. It's keeping me from being a loving son, a loving brother, a loving boyfriend, a loving man of God. If I'm constantly focused on myself and my imperfections, if I'm making what everyone says about me, if I'm making my job performance and my grades my life. I'm reading a book called Open by Andre Agassi. And in this book, Andre Agassi, who was a famous tennis player, is talking about how he hated tennis. And he hated tennis because tennis was his entire life. If he would lose, his whole world would be shattered. His whole self-worth would go right down the drain. He didn't know who he was outside of tennis. And it wasn't until he realized that his identity and who he was not tennis. He realized his identity was in his family, was in his kids, was in his foundation. Andre Agassi started building schools for underprivileged kids. And once he did that, he found a purpose. He found something outside of himself. So when he went on the court, he was dangerous because he wasn't really thinking about being number one or winning competitions. He was thinking about those kids that he was playing for, his family that he was playing for. And he was thinking, no matter what, if I lose, whether I win, I have my family and I have my foundation outside of that. And it made me realize, what is my foundation in? So much of my life has been based on needing to achieve in order to prove myself, needing to achieve because I've felt so incomplete and so unhappy. And then I finally realized that the only way I'm going to be happy is if I appreciate everything in my life. And that's from a conversation to a friend. That's in spending time with my mom and my family. It's in serving others where I'm gonna feel whole and complete. So I encourage you guys to find out, what is your foundation? What is gonna help you feel whole and complete? Because if you spend your life trying to achieve in order to prove others, if you spend your life needing the approval and validation of others to build your self-worth, you're going to be unhappy. Take care, guys, and God bless.